All right, pre-practice. This is something that I'll do, in our second year this year at Vanderbilt. I did this. This was every day, and we got to the point they were running it before we got to practice, but they knew they had to do this, the hip mobility, before we even stretched as a football team. So you'll see the other teams kind of out here doing some of their warm-up stuff. Guys are seeing trainers, but our guys will jump out, and it's just a 5x5 square. Like normally I had it coned off when they were first learning, but I'm training posture. You can see the knee bend, the Z's in the knees, the old school terms. But what I like is the posture, the reverse arc. The hips are tucked, the shoulder blades are tight, the windows are closed, so there's no space between the elbows and the rib cage. And what's fun for me to watch is, here you got an older guy, not quite as low at hips. This guy's like 4 inches taller, but look at the hips, look at the knees. This is one of our true freshmen that's in out of Florida. He's going to be a really good player. Here you got an older guy. Look at the difference in posture here with good reverse arc, and we don't have as good an arc here. So and you got to remind them, they get out of the drills what they put into them. You got a junior, a freshman, and a junior. And you just watch how they go approach a drill that's before practice. We're not trying to hunt. This is a big 6'6", 6'7" guy. So his whole life has been getting pads under him because we go to the shoot. Well, it's all about hips. And the sooner they can learn drop the hips, then I got a good reverse arc. So now as I lift, I'm lifting people. If you have a hunchback, all you're doing is driving yourself into the ground. Here's another freshman, okay? Just you see the difference in hunchback, young guys. This, what do we got here? We got a junior center for us. And I want short, controlled footwork. Here you got a little hunch in the back. Here's a true freshman that's exactly upright. There's not arc. Now there's a really bad arc you can see. So I get to watch this. I film this a couple times. Usually it's just my warm-up. Myself, DA, my assistant, we'll be in there, and we're watching this. They go forward. They'll go lateral, so they get to work an anchor or a post. And then I like the working backwards just so they got to control their body more on the balls of their feet. And then they get a post or anchor the other. A lot of times they'll start getting high here at the end, older guy. So those are the things you got to coach while you're there. I just want to get their hips warmed up before the day gets going. And like I said, you get the freshmen in here, they're trying to good knee bend, great posture. So you get excited about watching young guys in there and what you're going to fix and have go forward. Our star drill. So the hip mobility is something I did every day in the fall. They got the practice. They didn't always wait as a group like that. Let me go back here for you. They didn't always wait as a group like that to start together. That was something they could do on their own as they came out. Or for us, that's a big emphasis right now is hip mobility. If you have a different deal that your group, kind of the most general problem you have, make that a pre-practice warm-up drill just so they start thinking about it indirectly before the day even starts. Okay? This is something I love to do on our team conditioning days or position-specific conditioning. It covers a lot of space. This is probably the one drill I have where there's more cones than anything, but we call it the star drill. You'll see as these guys start, they'll run out, and it literally is, it's 10 yards by 10 yards, okay? The center point is in the middle, and then they'll start from the middle line. They're going to sprint, and then they got to stop and control themselves. And then I will either have them demeanor to a corner, to the middle line, so they got to work on sprint, stop their bodies as big guys, which is a problem for them, and then they got to consciously open the hip to get them in a straight line. So you'll see some guys will hurry through this, and as you get to a turn, they round it. Well, that's what they do when they pull and run by the backer. It's what they do in their outside zone and run past guys. They can't control themselves because their knees control the whole ship. It controls where they're going. Okay, so what you emphasize is what you get. We were working a drill when we first got here in our first year. It was just about commands and posture and ready, being in a ready position. So you'll see some of these clips, like the whole group, we'll start the drill on a command. They're all snapping down. That was just make sure they were locked in. They were getting the coaching for every guy. Okay, how you start a drill, how you attack a drill. We're sprinting up to attack. That's it. You're going to intimidate your opponent way more by the way you play than anything you can talk or say. So we're going to get up and get in a good stance. And it's an O-line stance. It's not a sprinter stance. So they got to get used to loading their stance just to get out and drive forward. We'll always start the drill sprinting to the white line. And then come to balance, pat of the feet, which is a drill. Anytime you're blocking second, third level, you got to be able to come to control and then keep working. So you'll see we get it. It almost looks like he's leaning backwards, but he's learned to control his body. He comes to balance. And in this drill, and the thing I love about the Star is you can work all the corners. And it's the one drill setup. They'll know before they start. The whole group's going to work the same direction. So this one here is a sprint, and it's a post knee to the left. So they'll post for 5 yards, and then we'll coach the finish. So it's sprint through the assistant, the cone, whatever you mark as your finish line. So you see that he's working a post. We get to the cone. I'd like him to go about a yard farther. You know, you got to, sometimes you're in front of the line. You just coach it up how you like it there. But then you get a finish component too, where this guy, your other coach, he's coaching more. We're through the line, like it's a full sprint still. You can see the sprint here as we go, and we coach the heck out, detail it just like you guys do. They're through the line, or they're right back in the front to go again. So they're getting O-line work, they're getting conditioning, and they're getting program, like core values. I mentioned it in a couple of different films we've done. We talk about the start, how you approach the drill. Okay, the middle, that's the work. Everybody does the work. You're not special for that. The finish, heck, half the guys don't even know how to finish in football anymore. And then we talk about the return. You'll see as they return, they're jogging back. And you're starting to train them how to play football. This is about a 3-second drill. Approach the line. Get off on a cadence. Sprint, come to balance, be athletic. Now we're asking you, do you do a controlled movement? And we're asking you to snap into finish. And all this is coached. You get to see the athleticism of your guys sometimes. And you can coach body mechanics. The big things I like to coach once they learn the drill. So you see the conditioning and you see our core values within a drill. I start coaching the fundamental piece. And the best thing I love about Star Drill is it's training hips. And you watch as a guy sprints to the line. He gets to that cone, and I showed you once already, he comes to balance. Now, with the post foot, you see him have to push and drive, okay, just like we do in any of our pass pro drills. He's got to keep his posture. Okay, he's clicking his heels a little much, so we're taking too big of steps. All right, now he opens up, they go to sprint. Now you get a guy, he drops the head and he's looking at the ground. You see the difference in how they're running? We are coaching them how to finish, not just yelling, finish, finish, finish. You want to look your opponent in the eyes and be running right through his soul. This guy's just, hey, I'm looking at the ground, I'm just hoping to make it. So he'll come back and do the drill over again. Okay, so and then the next, so you'll go from we'll sprint and we'll post. Now here's the drill again. We split them up to get more conditioning, or if you have a lot of guys, say you have your seniors through your freshmen all together. Well, when you got 20 guys, we actually need to condition a little bit. So we'll split up into 2 groups. And you can see there's a whole lot but it's 2 square drills. There's the center point, there's the center point. And they'll all do the same thing so that they're finished and not running into each other. Got to set the drill up and make sure we're being safe in what we're doing. Okay, now, what we saw in the first rep, they were working a post foot as they were working down the line. Here, it's actually, and this is more, like say a guy's pulling. He's in a stance. He's got to get the hip open and point that knee right where he's going, knee and toe where he's going. So you'll watch him come to balance here, and like this picture here, the guy up top, he's going to overrun the center point and almost round the turn. This is probably the hardest movement we have. They got to stop and get the knee open, and then they're in a position to where they can demeanor and then sprint to finish. Open, demeanor 5, sprint 5. And this is our inside. So we're working inside zone here, tempo. Okay? You watch a guy come in out of control to the turn. He's gonna overstep the line. And you see the inside knee drags around the turn. So it's almost like he's coming to stop and his hips are high. So now he's gonna drift around that turn. I want him to be able to come in and sit the hips down and be sharp with the turn where that foot can drop. Still coach finished. Now here you go. Here's a much better, not a great stance because it's more of a sprinter stance. We want the O-line stance. He comes to balance. This is a big 340-pounder here. Watch the right knee here as he goes to open up, okay? You're going to get a guy that opens that knee, and it's going to actually drop behind the line. Now he's got his hips and demeanor to go finish.